I found that letter that was sent to the sheriff on praising one of his deputies.
I read it.
Yeah.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning, Andy. Rod.
Those commissioners this morning.
We've been pretty beat up, so go gentle here.
You want the good news or the bad news?
I wouldn't want any bad news.
I see.
You can leave that somewhere else.
Okay.
So we'll take the good.
Well, our cash flow's working so
Good.
far,
Good.
like it was intended to, and so that's neat. So we're not going to need all of the 6 mil equivalent, but there's some that boiler and there's some capital improvements that we need. Now, I don't have bids. Jared Sowers is supposed to get me one 60 days ago. I talked to him again recently. So I don't have any bids. Do we need to encumber that? Because some of this work probably won't be done before January 1. What do we do?
And that was on what, on the,
There's a boiler that needs replaced
Boiler
in the
replacement.
long-term care.
okay.
I think it depends on how much it's gonna be.
Yeah.
That's gonna be an auditor question, whether we can transfer that or.
And another issue is the swinging double doors that the fire marshal didn't like. And come to find out, that should have been done a year ago, and Jeff didn't do anything. The reports from a year ago were identical to the ones this year.
That's the one we talked about
Yeah.
going into the kitchen area?
Yeah. And so I don't have any information on that yet. Brian Balls,
Did he mark it as a violation, or is it just something he didn't care about?
he wants it fixed. And so we applied for 120 days. There was that and a couple other things. They've taken care of most of the small things.
Was that, what did we decide to go with the frame too, or just the doors?
Well, Brian Ball said there's an outfit out of Amarillo that would come, and the frames are they're metal, so they've got to be fireproof, but there's not a visible stamp on them. But if the guy from Amarillo comes and inspects it, he can approve that, and we can move forward. So we're not planning on replacing the frames, just order the doors. But I don't have a number there yet either, which I hope to have. And then there's some drainage issues that need addressed. I didn't bring you one, Rod.
That's how I understand the problem.
Oh, we need that.
Oh,
Leslie doesn't want it anyway. So I've got that marked there as number 1, and that's been an ongoing problem. And the water pools in that area and tries to go in that south door there where the pinky is. And Brock is supposed to bring his transit, and that hadn't happened yet either, but we need to try to drain that. My idea is burying an 8-inch drain line down where that green side on the west side, drain that out of there. And then over in the center there's a small pink area there that's water used to go in those doors, but we addressed part of that problem when we rebuilt and tore out some extra concrete there to get that to drain out of there, because it was all the cement just sloped towards that door. So we bit the bullet, and we've kind of taken care of that. And then on number 2, that everything slopes towards those two doors, and water gets under those. And we need to do the transit work and see what it would take to get that to drain to the east.
Do we have like a drainage pond on site? Where everything goes to, or does it just go
Yeah,
down the street?
right there by number one.
Okay.
And where do you
Every-
propose to run this water to?
Well, it'll go down the curb to the north.
To the north.
And it overflows. Right now, the natural drainage goes where that is, but see, it's grass there and it keeps silting up, and we need to be sure that that drains out of there good. We can't have that silting up. Because water didn't go in that south door when we had that 3-inch rain event, but it was that
Getting
close.
close. But
So it'd follow the natural drainage.
you're kind of waiting on Brock to come up and,
Yes. And over by number 2, those two blue dots, sometime years ago, they put in a 4-inch drain there by the door, and then it exits over there by that other blue dot. But that 4-inch doesn't do anything, and if there's any leaves or anything, it covers up that drain, and nothing goes through it. So they know it's been a problem because there's a big area there that slopes into that. And this lagoon over here by number 1, we looked at that when we were building and didn't like it, but there wasn't anything we could do. And this new construction we did didn't change anything. There's the same amount of square foot of roofing drained in there that did historically. You know, so the building didn't change any of that. That's just been a problem for 50 years. So we would like to address that. Because Ryan Murray says if you get water in there, it has to be evacuated.
Yeah.
And nobody wants that.
yeah. Plus you got the wear and tear and the damage to the building itself.
Yes. And then that X with a circle on, that portion of that roof leaks. It's a metal roof, and part of it is it adjoined that valley. It's metal on one side, asbestos on the other side, and so some of it I think's at the top, some of it might be that valley thing. But so anyway, that needs addressed.
That's been turned into the K camp.
Okay,
Correct.
good. Well,
Well, that's what we were working on the other day.
I'm here to find out because I can't get on the same page with Craig White. He said he turned it in, and I think he turned in for that water coming under the door, which wouldn't be covered anyway. Do you know whether it was roof or?
When I did it, it was for roof leaking
Okay.
and coming under the door.
Okay.
I believe there's 2 spots that roof was 2 different roofs, or
And that's probably $1,000 deductible, probably. I don't know.
I would assume it's, yeah, that's what it usually is.
But that stuff coming under the door wouldn't be insured anyway.
No,
So
not for water.
I think he was. And then, like this roof insurance, is that replacement cost? Is your insurance replacement cost or depreciated?
We'd have to ask K-Camp
Yeah.
specifically.
So here, and I don't have extra copies of this, but I mean that shows. And seeing, originally I thought that was from the insurance adjuster. Well, when I dug a little deeper, no, that was somebody stopped by and gave an estimate. He was looking for a job. So that confused the situation for a while. And that company's out of Sterling, and there were people in the museum Friday from Sterling, and I asked them if they knew anything about this. They didn't know. They didn't. The guy I asked was a contractor at Sterling. He said they moved in recently after the storm. You know how they do. He said, I haven't heard any complaints. He said, and I would, if they weren't doing good work, he said I would have heard it. So he didn't have anything against them, but number one, we need another bid,
Yeah.
and
with,
Have
to keep in
been-
accordance with the county policy rule.
Yeah.
And there's a good chance that this could be bid locally anyway,
Right.
which we want to do because if at all possible. So, but these were just numbers that this guy left with Craig. And I told Craig when the K-Camp adjuster came, I wanted to meet with them. And I keep asking, well, I haven't heard anything. Well, then Friday afternoon you said no, then K-Camp didn't.
They had left, and I'm not blaming Craig for anything, but, and where they left it, I don't know. But they left several messages for Craig, and he never called them back.
So it's
Where they
depending
got
on
it.
whether K-Camp and what they're gonna do.
But anyway,
Yes.
we got it switched over to Eddie, right?
Well, I
I
think.
think.
See, that
was
happened
a
late
long
Friday
day
afternoon. So I've got some numbers here. This Bill Milliard that you gave me a phone number for, I will contact him today and see where we're at.
Okay. Yeah, and going back to your boiler, yeah, we're gonna need at least 2 bids on it.
The preference is 3.
The preference
On
is
any
3,
big
yeah.
Project.
The roof is 3.
For any project.
We'd like to see any project have at least 3 bids.
But you understand,
Yes, I
Right.
know.
It's
And if
hard
it-
But
to
as long
get
as a good faith
to.
effort is made to
If
get
an effort
at
is
least
made,
3 bids.
we've even accepted something as simple as emails back and forth between companies. Is this something you'd be interested in? Can you give us a figure?
And if they say no, then that's kind of
Well,
concerning.
I think the roof.
Due
would be- That
diligence.
would be easy. That would be easy to get 3.
Well, yeah.
The boiler, I think that's where you're gonna run into.
Yeah.
Trying to find somebody that would wanna do it.
Is it still operational at all?
It is. They, I mean, that's been 60 days ago probably when they had to replace the gas valve in there, and nobody in town had one the proper size. But Jared put one in that Heartland had. Ed Barron had one down there, and it's the one that was in there was 360,000 BTU, and they put in one for 250,000 BTU. And it's holding, it's doing it. But see, that original one was for 51 beds. Well, there's only 30 there now. See, so it's
Yeah.
the demand has changed, and so. But anyway, it's going to have to be addressed.
Well, I just don't want to be caught with it not working at all.
I know.
And then have to make a rush decision on,
Yes. Well, that's
They're
so.
gonna stick it to you then.
yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody could.
And Jared apologized for not getting back to me sooner, but everybody's busy.
Yeah. Well, let's see if we can't get at least a couple more bids for that. And something to compare it to.
All right. Any other?
Do they have to come out and look at it, or can you send them some kind of information?
On the boiler?
Yeah.
Ooh, I
They'd
don't.
have to look
I
at
think
it.
they'd have to
Yeah,
look at
they'd
it,
have to,
see
yeah.
what connections, all that, I think.
Picture
If we-
the size of the boiler and everything else.
If we send them a picture of that water room, they'd run. It's been,
So
over the years they've
are we
had it.
taking care of less square feet with the boiler now?
Well, this is for the hot water. This is for,
Just the hot water?
yeah, there's 2 boilers. There's one for the heat and one for, so we're just talking
So
water.
the one for the heat's okay? For now?
Yeah.
But we've had issues with this
With the-
water temp,
Yeah,
the same boiler
yeah.
Yeah.
in the past. Do you think that a new boiler, well, hopefully
Well, well, I do. I mean, Jared used to be, when he was in Kansas City, he did commercial work for commercial buildings. So I think he knows his stuff. But what they've been doing, they added an on-demand
I
heater,
remember that.
and that didn't work, so they added another one. And Hal Griffin says it wasn't put in there in the proper order. It's so that
We'll just
never
have-
did work.
We'll just have to make sure that whoever would win the bid, whatever contractor that,
Guaranteed.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
something that we're we're demanding more than anything is that this meets the needs to keep in compliance with. Okay, now, did you have good news? Or did you give us that already?
Well, I'll give it to you again. Cash flow's good.
All right. Well, I like good news.
Cash flow's been good. Still staffing issues, they're short on CNAs and CNAs.
That's everywhere.
Yeah.
That's nationwide, I think.
So,
Heck, even the one over in Goodland's having that trouble.
Oh, they are.
so the connection with Grace LLC, that's still a good bond and everything's going smooth?
Yeah, when we were doing this, they were doing the audit for the PDC. I was needing stuff, and Eddie emailed John Grace, and we had a ton of documents.
Well,
And that's all the auditor wanted was a ton and a.
Yeah,
Sometimes they want a
it's
ton
been-
and a half,
it's been,
don't they?
I've had some inquiries
A lot
from
of work.
Sherman County on how our relationship with Grace is going, and my understanding it's always been positive, but apparently they're negotiating with the nursing home in Goodland at this time.
Well, I think they've taken it
I think they're
over.
managing
I
it.
think they
it's
are.
done.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these inquiries probably would have been 30, 60 days ago.
Probably.
So I think they've taken it over.
Okay.
I think so.
When Eddie said he's gonna meet with you and have been involved with this so many years, and I think what I want you to think about, in the past, Good Samaritan took it all. It was every year, it was whatever amount you provided, they just took it all. And I think if we can think of a way to always have a reserve